Welcome to Motherhood and Mania. Stop. This is my first talking video. Today I'm going to just go through a timeline of when my mental health journey really started about a little bit over a year ago. I think a year and a couple months. And then in future videos I will break down each time period / event and explain it more. But right now I just wanted to do my first real video and tell you about where I was and where I'm at. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is my childhood. Obviously, everything starts at childhood. I was always a fearful, anxious kid. My mom said that when I was younger, I was a lot like my daughter, like spirited, fun, social. And then as I got older, I got quieter and more shy and felt like people were always judging me and always had anxiety about everything. I never thought anything would be fun. I always saw the fear in it. And that was basically all through my childhood. I remember that a lot of people were always scrutinizing me and judging me, and you know, I just thought everyone was judging. I was always fearful that something bad was gonna happen. You know, I enjoyed things like I liked to write in a journal, I collected my rocks, I wrote lists about what I was going to get at the mall on the weekend. I liked to read. I was an introvert, a homebody. I did hang out with friends, but there was always this fearful, anxious part of me, like in my belly. When I got to high school, I remember that being probably my first time that I experienced depression. Childhood was anxiety, even though I didn't know that's what it was called. High school was normal high school anxiety, but also I remember that's the first time I felt like a little bout of depression. I loved high school. I went to an all-girls Catholic school and I made a lot of friends there. Was involved on the dance team. I played field hockey. I got good grades. You know, other than my normal anxiety, I pretty much had a good time. I still had that feeling that like people were judging me, and I was always fearful of things like going to sleepovers or, you know, going out and traveling. Like I didn't want to go to dances. I didn't want to go on trips with my friends. And anything that other high schoolers would consider like fun or would get excited about, I would be like, oh shit, I don't want to do this. I liked being by myself or one-on-one with another friend. Then we hit college, which I was not prepared for. I was sheltered. I never drank. I never went to parties where there was drinking or drugs or anything like that. And so when I went to college, I went from an all-girls Catholic school, high school, to a co-ed dorm in an enormous party university. I think I just wasn't prepared. I went into really bad depression in my first semester, and then I started having physical symptoms and IBS. I went to a GI doctor, and I was always sick in the bathroom, which was like a community bathroom. And I was also having horrible cramps. It was just like really hard for me to live away from home. I was not prepared to do that. So there were a lot of things that I didn't know about myself and I was not aware of going into college. And it was like major culture shock. And I was very much miserable the first 2 years. After college in my 20s, I continued to have IBS. Anxiety, depression here and there. So in my late 20s, when I started dating my now husband, he kind of pushed me to go see a therapist. So I started seeing a therapist, and I just kept going because I was like, well, I'm seeing a therapist, like just so I could say it. She did persuade me finally to start taking anxiety medication. She said it would help with my anxiety, but also calm down my IBS symptoms. It calmed down my stomach a lot and helped with my anxiety a lot. So now I'm on Lexapro. I'm in my 30s. I'm married. I had this amazing, beautiful baby girl who's now 7, which is insane to me. I think I'm gonna say that my whole life. It's like, how does that infant become a actual human that's tall and like talking and saying things? After I had her, you really notice things that you want to change about yourself, because I want my child to see me as a strong, gentle, capable, loving mom. And so there were a lot of things I needed to work on for myself. And as she got older and started pointing things out to me, that's really like when your kid notices something that you're trying to work on and you're not successful and they point it out to you, that's like a big wake-up call. Like, your husband can tell you 100 times, or your family or your friends, but when your child does it, it's like, okay, like I really need to do something about this. After that, my husband one day asked me, have you ever been tested for adult ADHD? I was like, no, why? And he was like, I think you should call your doctor and get evaluated. So I did, and I passed with flying colors. That led me to seeing a new therapist to work through that. I found an amazing therapist, and who I'm still with to this day. In the first 5 weeks, it was breakthrough after breakthrough. She started coaching me with ADHD, and then while we were talking one day, she noticed some of the things I was talking about, and she said, I'd like you to go see a psychiatrist because it seems like you may have a little bit of bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder? Like, I was just like, I am not that crazy. Like, in my head, I was like, I can't believe this, that I am not like girl interrupted, like screaming and being strapped to a bed. And so I found a psychiatrist who worked with my therapist to try and figure out what was happening. And I scored at the very beginning of the mood disorder spectrum. So I was diagnosed with bipolar 2. She recommended going on medicine. Once I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I started on medications, and I tried different doses of different medications for ADHD and bipolar disorder. And you know, that's still my current journey. I'm still trying to figure out the correct dose and the correct medicine if the one I just started is going to be a good match with the other medicine I'm on. And it's very frustrating, and I feel so much better. I'm not quite where I'd like to be, but I haven't had a depressive episode since Christmas break of 2021, I believe. I have had a lot of hypomanic episodes. They've dwindled down in severity, but I still get them here and there, and so that's what we're trying to figure out now. But I am so much better off from where I was when I started. I feel like now I can at least try my best to be the kind of mom I want to be for my daughter. Every day I have to work at it. I've always talked about my mental health on social media and things like that. I always say that I'm a mental health advocate and like, talk about your mental health, share your story, blah, 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 hashtag, whatever. But I wasn't really sharing mine until last year, and I can't say that I'm a mental health advocate unless I'm truly living that. This year I was like, I'm going to do this thing. Like, I'm gonna start posting videos, and hopefully somebody out there will come across one, and maybe he or she is struggling and doesn't know what's happening either. It took a very long time for me to figure it out, and I just want you to know that you will figure it out at some point. It may not be for another 5 years, for another 10 years, it could be tomorrow. Once you figure it out though, it's a long journey, but now you'll get answers. You won't feel like, why am I like this? What is happening? I'm so weird, nobody's like this, nobody's like me. But I'm telling you, there are people around you going through the same thing that you don't even know about. At work, your friends, family members. People don't talk about it, but when I started talking to people about it, I found so many other people that were going through the same thing as me. Share your story. Thank you for listening to mine, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Oh. Ooh. And I'm Chris. What's the matter? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is, ow, cramp. Ah!